Hello, everybody. I am coming to you live from Georgia, where I am drinking a mug of tea and also some apple cider because it's fall and it's a beautiful fall day, and I like to celebrate that with my beverage choices. What I'm doing here today is writing a blog post live in front of you, in front of my computer screen, and in front of this spider that's made its home in our window. In case you're new to this, or if you're watching this on a replay, or you just happened across this video and you have no idea who I am or what I'm doing here, what this is just I write a blog post live. I share my screen. You get to see how I'm typing, what I'm doing, what my thoughts are. I answer some questions as I go along, and it's been a lot of fun every time I've done this. I love writing. I love writing live. I love answering questions. So it's just a win-win-win for everyone. And yeah, any questions you have about the process, feel free to let me know in the chat. Sometimes I do try to get into the writing zone, but I do try to sort of surface often enough to answer any questions that anyone's got. So I can see from the chat, Eradication and Ola are here. Hi, good to see you both. And I guess I'll simply start sharing my screen if I can find the button. All right. Hopefully everyone can see my screen. I've just gone to my pretty bog standard profile. So what I thought I'd do today is actually go to try to pick out one of my drafts. So every time I have a story idea, but I don't have time to turn it into a story, I just whack a headline in my draft and move on with my life. So they get a bit neglected sometimes because the drafts I've had in there have been in there for like nearly 2 years now, and I feel kind of bad that they got forgotten about. So I thought this would be a good chance to go back over things and turn something that's been a headline idea potentially into something a bit bigger, a bit realer, something that could live and be shown to people. So let's see. Some of these I write them and then I'm like, oh God, that's so bad. I'll never actually turn that into a story. Yeah, you can see I haven't done these for like, this looks interesting. I don't even remember writing that. Okay, I could potentially turn that into a story. I'll keep it as an option. Oh no, it's gonna go back to the top. Where was it? I forgot it. Okay, open a new tab. Some of these, like I've actually already turned this one into a different story, so it like found its life in another draft, so to speak. I've been meaning to write this one for ages. I listened to this podcast called Rom-Com Pods. It's like I love Hallmark movies, and this is exactly like that, but in podcast form. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Some of these are no longer relevant. I can't write that anymore. That's, 5 months old. Christ. Okay, this one looks good too, actually. All right. All right, we're going to go with the psychological trick, kind of at a whim. All right, before I jump in, I'll just make a quick stop at the question section, see if anybody's got any questions. Most people saying hi. Hi, Sean. Hi, Brian. Can't find my mouse. Oh, hi, Peter, Zach, Olivia, Loic from the Caribbean. Probably not pronouncing your name. Oh, Linda's got a question. Linda, I used software called StreamYard. I'm on the free version. I think that gives me like 20 hours of unlimited streaming. So if that's something you're interested in, I highly recommend it. I know, Amir, I have a ton of drafts. I wonder how, but I want to know how old my oldest draft is. 8 months, 10 months, 11 months, 12 months, 1 year. Is there anything that's 2 years old? Christ on a bike, it just keeps going. Oh, why do people buy followers from 2 years ago? Oh, this is my very first draft. Oh my gosh, I can't believe my baby draft. I never turned it into anything. These are so funny. All right, let's jump right in. All right, Olivia, I agree. I also like the fact that this is not a listicle, because I find that my listicles tend to perform really well, but they kind of sap my joy of writing a little bit sometimes. Sometimes I love writing them, but I don't feel like one today. So the fact that I've used this 5 months ago suggests that I originally had a source for this. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, this seems promising. It was the frontal lobe. Okay, so this is actually backed up by science. So whenever I see something like this that is like obviously scientific, but not like real science, I normally try to see who they cite. Okay, no, those are responses. They don't have a, do they link to it up front? This one. Okay, let's see. This doesn't really make, this is the problem with trying, this is a terrible idea. I don't remember what I was talking about in this draft idea. How am I going to turn this into a proper draft? I guess that's the challenge. And all right. Okay. I'm just going to start writing and see what happens. How to make a first impression. So whenever I sit down to write an introduction, the first thing I think about, I were reading this. All right, I've already made it past. I've clicked on the title. What's going to make me stick around? So I always like to address the pain. And the pain that I'm answering with this is awkward first impressions. So I spell cliche. All right, I'm going to take a small break. Oh, sorry, I can't help you, Linda. Linda was the one who asked about StreamYard. Yeah, that's what I use, and it works pretty well for me, so not sure what's going on. Amir suggesting a story on how many drafts I have. I could. Maybe I should. David popping in from Swansea. Hello. Linda, there's another recommendation for you in the chat. If you're looking for a streaming software, Open Broadcaster software. Apparently should be quite good. So, okay. Now where was I? I have a feeling this is going to be a shortish one, like maybe 800, 900 words. 98 words so far. I've got a while to go. All right. There are so many first impressions I wish I could do over. That's addressing the pain. Now I have to segue into the solution, which is this neat thing about holding positive words in your head. I recently wrote a really well-performing story. Silly psychology trick. That's what I get when I misspell my own pen name. This is the one. All right, I'm going to link to this one. One thing I've been trying to get better at is linking to my own stories, because you never know when a story is going to do really viral, and it's just a dead easy way to just get some extra traffic on your old stories. And it hurts nothing. Like, the reason I like to do it like this rather than like doing the big block like this is about to turn into is it puts more choice on the reader. If they want to click on this link, it's there. If they don't want to, it's not like a whole block that's difficult to ignore. So that's why I typically do this for my like in-story links. All right, luckily, a recent how recent is this? Oh, 2009. Oh no, I can't use something from 2009. That's so old. All right, we're going to go to scholar.google.com and see if we can't scare up a more relevant link. All right, if I were writing about this, what would I call this? This would be something like Better First Impressions Human Psychology. This is how I find a lot of story ideas. And I want something that's at least relatively recent. I'll accept anything in the last 5 years. That looks interesting. I might have to take this in a different direction after all. All right, I need to get more specific if I want to pull this back. Language. This looks good. Yes, accept all cookies. I hate the cookies. Okay, here we go. This is what I wanted. We are in. I want to read the whole thing. All right. This is a little hack I use. This probably isn't legal, but it's how I get around the paywalls for scientific articles. While this is loading, I'll ask some questions. Hopefully my internet is not loading. Olivia asks, how do I know if I'm writing about myself too much, that it sounds journalish? I've heard people warn against that. Yeah, probably the easiest way to do this is go through and find out how many times you say I or me, and see if it would make sense to replace them with you or we or something that isn't centered around yourself. If you're writing personal essays, it's totally okay to make this about yourself, as long as you have a conclusion that actually adds value to the reader. So they get to the bottom of your story and they're like, okay, this has given me entertainment, education, changed my mind about something, solidified my conviction, something. But if it's not a personal essay and you want to try to avoid sort of journalist diary-esque writing, see if you can't change some of the I's and me's to be you, we, they kind of thing, to make sure that it's not centric to you, but that it's centric to the reader. The podcast one is a great story idea. working with public, all I hear is what podcast someone is listening to at the moment, and the variety of subject is vast. Yeah, this is what actually really attracted me to the podcast. I love fiction. I love podcasts, but I could only find like really heavy, really dark crime or like sci-fi podcasts. Rom-com pods was like, it was just a cute little sweet, light, fluffy, sweet, funny comedy that they're half an hour long. They're so easy to digest and they're just lovable. I feel like I'm being hugged. How many drafts after I published my first post? Zach, I'm not sure I understand this question. I think you're asking like after I published my first post, how many drafts were there? I don't really know. I guess close to 200. Hope that makes sense. Sorry to hear that you're working, Candy. That sucks. I'm really glad that this is my full-time job now, is writing. And hopefully if that's something you also get there one day. Exciting news for your new laptop though, and can't wait to see what you write. Okie doke. So we are in here. I copied the URL. Let's see if we can find it. Seriously, can't recommend Sci-Hub enough. The woman behind it really believes in open access science. And, you know, I think that's something we can all agree on. Did that not work? Maybe I need to get the, what's it called? The DOE. Normally it pulls up like search results. Don't know what's going on here. All right, what if I just search the title? I'm gonna be gutted if I can't use this because I can't access it. Just so y'all know, okay. This is weird. Maybe I had the wrong one? Okay, yeah, this is what I was expecting. Here we go. Okay, so sometimes I skip ahead to the conclusion. Is that bad? You know what? I'm sure I love this one after all. The research part of my articles often takes the longest because I don't want to invest too much in a story that isn't going to go anywhere. So I found over the the 2 years that I've been writing, it makes a lot more sense to spend half an hour up front putting in the research and then developing that quickly into a full-blown article versus diving into the writing straight away and then being like, crap, this isn't going anywhere. Meta-analysis, that sounds useful. Nope, that's not what I need. You know what? 20 minutes in, I don't know if I've got anything for this. All I have is that old article. I might just have to use an old source. Okay, I might just use this source. That's fine. Not gonna be perfect though, it's gonna be better. Looking for something to source, to cite that first thing. Like, I'm really struggling with this one, y'all. Hopefully this is making you feel like if you ever have writer's block or you're like, God, I don't know where I'm going with this article, you are not alone. We've all been there. All right, here's what we want. Oh, come on, I just saw it. This is what I want. Gonna have to get the stupid thing from Sci-Hub again. All right, here we go. What's this? This was the language I was looking for. I want to quote this in here. What? I'm actually gonna have to read the whole thing. There we go. And the neat thing is I can actually share this with other people. Our 2009 study on I've already used relatively in a sentence, haven't I? Simple. What did I actually recommend in that story? I spelled mnemonic. I just saw it. I literally mnemonic. All right, mnemonic. Okay, this feels like a solid introduction. I've kind of saved it. I thought for a minute, I was like, oh man, I'm gonna have to abandon the story, but I'm okay. We're doing all right. I'll take a minute and answer some questions from the chat. All right. Candy asks, I have an idea for my first article. This title, did I fantasize about my friend's death? How I got from Star Wars put me under scrutiny. My advice, Candy, would be to shorten this to something like, I don't know if this is the case for your story, how advice I got from Star Wars made me fantasize about my friend's death, if that's what happened here. That's kind of what I understand. Would I click on it? Maybe. Anybody else have any thoughts? Please put them in the chat for Candy. Dina asks, what is my main theme with this story? Am I trying to write about first impressions through body language or words? This particular one is words, and I've seen your next question. You asked because you have some insight who's considered legally deaf but lives and works in the hearing world. One word says a lot, but body language says more. That's a fair point here, and I should probably note that. Because this is going to be language related. So thank you for that, Dina. Olivia asks, do you have to have permission to link out to somebody else's Medium post? I would say no. I frequently link out to other people's Medium posts because it's good writing and I just like to link to it, and nobody's ever called me up on it. The only time I ask for permission is sometimes if I'm taking an image from like Twitter or something like that, or a meme from Twitter. In that case, the ownership is a bit more nebulous and I just want to make sure I'm like dotting my I's and crossing my T's. All right. can subtly influence using language to make better first. All right, now we're back on to the original. Oh no, I lost it. I exited out of tabs. This is what I get for closing out tabs all the time. Oh, this is not good. I'm just gonna Google it. All right, we'll just look it up regular Google. Okay. I've got any publishing experts. Please tell me if I should italicize or bold the book title. Because I can't remember. All right, I can see this is beginning to take shape. This is kind of how I write. Like sometimes I will have an idea and I know it doesn't fit in the I'm writing, but instead of not writing it down, I just start building lower down in the story. I might not keep all of this, but it's there if I need it, if I want to keep developing. All right. Technology really let me down today. All right, gonna take a break for questions. Caveat, you can add quotes between your story. I prefer an inline quote that looks like this, where it's like the quote is part of the story. But if you want like a visual effect or you really pull a quote out, you can do something like, this is a special quote. Cool person. And you can use the quote to make it look like that or like that. So up to you. That's just a stylistic choice. Does mentioning other writers on Medium help grow followers? No, it's speaking from personal experience. If it's a relevant mention, like if someone says, I read this story by @Zuli and it made me think of this, then I normally will read and clap for the story. I don't often follow that person. What I find really annoying and what I think most writers on Medium find annoying is when somebody tags like 1,000 people at the bottom of their story, and they do this a lot of times. That's really irritating. If you're doing that, that's not a really good way to get high quality followers on Medium. Maximum number of words in a story, the sky's the limit. I've seen stories that are book length. I've seen stories that are a couple hundred words. So just depends how much time you got. Can you write? Oh, you got a lot of questions, Kevia. Can you write a story related to astronomy? Yes, you definitely can. On Medium, you can actually write about anything you want. There are some restrictions, no hate speech, no promoting or violence, things like that. As long as you're not writing nasty things, literally the sky's the limit. I write about my cats. I write about food. I write random psychology hacks I read about. Like, all right, we are diving back in. I'm gonna be quiet for a second while I write. Although I'm going to switch to my apple cider because I finished all my tea. Oh, Veronica's just helped me out that the book title should be italicized. Thank you, Veronica. Thank you. I can never remember. That's a more accurate subtitle, I feel. All right, what else have we got here? I think I want to go back to my another source, maybe. I think I might have exhausted that. I really want to get methods in here. Like what positive words, what negative words? Gonna have to look at that in 2009 study. Ah! Where's the full study? Ooh. Nope, still just the abstract. To Sci-Hub. Interestingly, she doesn't link. Sci-Hub.tw. I think that's the one I normally use. Nope. All right, Sci-Hub.st maybe? Loading. Okay. All right. I'm looking for methods here. Okay. Crampy. Crampy. And Dirty. I love that highly erotic is considered a positive. That's hilarious. All right, we're going to go with refreshing, celestial, and warming. This is quite dense, this abstract. I wonder if it's because it's been translated from German. This is why it's useful to have both scientific articles so you can cite and try to understand your source material, as well as slightly fluffier articles like this one that are telling you the main idea. So like, for example, I got the main idea, and then I wanted more detail. So I was like, all right, negative words. And then I was like, all right, what negative words specifically? Diving into the source material. All right, what is the science? What does it actually do? That's what I'm looking for. I don't want this to be bolded. This is so funny. They've gone all corporate in the bottom half of their article. That's a little annoying. And this is very clickbaity. I can feel where this is going. I can feel this is going. I think I've got a good feeling about this. I think I'm closing in. Okay, I think I've got a grasp of another break to answer some questions. Cool Guy wants to know if there are any publications that publish aviation-related content, the area of your expertise. We'll take a quick break for a tutorial on how to find publications for you. Aviation is a great example. So whenever I write something and I'm like, what publication will accept this random topic I'm writing about? I do two things. First, I go to the topics page. Now I start thinking the topics page is a little general, so we're going to have to use our imaginations here. Aviation, probably going to be more specifically like, let's see. None of these are really sticking out to me. Space, potentially. I think travel might be on there. Travel could be one. Transportation. So transportation is probably the one I'm going to lean towards. Yeah, let's go to transportation. So I nip over to the transportation topic. What this website right now is holding tells me all of the stories that have been curated into the transportation topic over the past couple of days. This is better than using the search functionality. I'll show you why in a sec. Let's go to medium.com. Now let's just say I type in aviation into the search. This is not organized by the latest one published. This is organized by popularity. So this was published in Timeline in 2017. I have no idea if Timeline is still active as a publication. I don't know if Innovation and Technology is still active as a publication. I don't know if Mission, actually, I know for a fact that mission.org is no longer active. So this can give you a bad idea of where you should be spending your time when you're trying to find a good publication for aviation. So you look in here, and here gives me prop liners, tech talkers, 10 could be a potential, modern city. It really depends where you're going with your aviation topic. But this is what I do whenever I want to try to find publications that are relevant to a topic I'm writing about, because this is organized by recency. So like these stories are published very recently. So I know for a fact these publications are active. And I know that they have a high enough curation or standard of editing that at least some of them are ended up curated by the Medium curators. So that's where we're at. This is what I would recommend for you, cool guy, trying to figure out publications that publish aviation-related content. Zach asks how many subtitles I usually include in my story. Probably somewhere between 3 to 5. It depends how long the story is. Yeah, three to 5 probably. How many has this got? 1, 2, 3. Oh, just 3. All right, so just 3 for this one. Yeah, agree with Dina, who tells cool guy that if you write it, they will come. So there you go. All right, back into the story. Dina, you've given some really good, some additional context for this story, like talking about eye contact and tone of voice. This stuff is really important for first impressions overall. And I don't want to discount that, but I do want to explain why I'm not really going to talk about any of this. If I wanted to write an article about better first impressions, the truth is that not many people would click on it. It's been done to death. Like, how to make a better first impression is like, if I were just to publish that, people would be like, "Oh, I probably know everything she's going to say," and they wouldn't be interested. So by focusing it on a single thing, one thing people can do, and by making it clear that in my subtitle, I try to make it clear that this isn't your average random listicle of things that are going to help. This is something that you probably don't already know. I'm trying to entice people to click more on my story. And then as soon as they get them into the introduction, hopefully they'll realize, okay, this is new, this is interesting, this isn't something I've seen before. And then they would stick around. So I just wanted you to know why I wasn't addressing those points, because they're totally relevant and they're very valid, but I don't want to make the mistake of trying to go too broad with my story, if that makes sense. Okay. Still can't spell mnemonic. All right. I believe doom scrolling isn't a word yet. I want a word that's like, I can't think of it. It's like it's obviously and very untrue. It's not implicitly, but like not tacitly, inherently maybe. Overtly maybe. Overtly untrue. All right, this is really, really shaping up well. I'm very happy how this is turning out. To the question section. Steph, can you start writing on Medium, save your draft, and publish later? Yes, and in fact, had I not been able to do this, and I just been like, whatever, I'm not writing this today because I've run out of cider, something like that, I don't know. I could just exit out and then just come back to this tomorrow or whenever. It is still there. All 791 words. What makes Medium stories different from blog posts? Zach, this is a very broad question. Really, there's no difference. This is a blog post. I'm about to publish this blog post on my Medium profile. The differences I tend to see are there's less of a niche because I write about whatever I want. I don't have to stick to like one thing that's mine. And there's the added element of like publications, curations, etc. But at their core, there really isn't a difference. They're pretty much the same. It's got some great suggestions, categorically, empirically, irrefutably, good stuff. It's one of those. I think it's one of those. I can't remember which one. All right, let's see. I feel like it's categorically. I want like a combination of obvious and strong. I don't even know if the word exists. We're gonna go categorically for now. I like that. It's categorically untrue, and we all know it. brain. Okay. Hi, Miss Lady. Some of you will be familiar with my cat Astrid. She loves to come hang out with me when I do meetings, write with me lives. She's got very firm opinions on all my business matters, don't you, Miss Lady? You gonna say hi? All right. Where are you gonna go? Gonna go harass my computer? Move. Thank you. Okay. She just nearly fell off the desk. She's a very clumsy cat. All right, I'm out of apple juice. Coming to a conclusion. All right, when I get to this point and I'm like, how do I wrap it up? What am I missing? What I want is I want people to get to the end of the story and feel like they've learned something, like this is actually going to be useful for them every day, potentially. So I read the whole thing out loud, and this normally gives me some editing changes too. So this psychological trick, I'm gonna close my door as well. Sorry, Astrid, you're trapped. This psychological trick lets you make a better first impression. Whoops, where are we going? Psychologists find positive language stimulates the frontal lobe. How to introduce yourself in a way that would oh, what, now you want to go? How'd she go? Imagine if you knew exactly how to introduce yourself in a way that would I want something, but without overpromising. Like the word choice doesn't guarantee. She's back in. Make up your mind, Kat. That would help. Imagine if you knew exactly how to introduce yourself in a way that would leave a positive first impression. It's the kind of minor change that could have serious ramifications on the rest of your life. After all, first impressions count more than any future impressions you'll make in a relationship. First impressions are tightly connected with the enduring biases subjects bring along, writes Schiller et al. In their 2009 study on a neural mechanism of first impressions. It's possible to change a mind later on, but it's easier to make a good first impression right at the start. The problem, as a lot of us will recognize, is that when humans get put under any kind of pressure conversationally, we don't take to make good impressions. We're prone to talking too much about ourselves and forgetting the names of those we speak with. Luckily, the benefit of having monkey brains that often let us down when we most need them is that they're relatively easy to hack. You can train yourself to remember people's names, for example, by using some simple mnemonic devices. You can subtly influence your own actions and those of others with material priming. And you can learn to make better first impressions just by changing the language you use. How positive language affects your brain. No, I'm going to change this to be your brain on positive language. I'm referencing, I don't remember what kind of outreach it was. It was supposed to stop people from doing drugs, and it was like, your brain on meth, and it had like a picture of your brain. So that's what I'm referencing here. I hope people get it. Authors Andrew Newberg and Mark Robert Waldman, that's a mouthful, tell us that a single word has the power to influence the expression of genes that regulate physical and emotional stress. In their book, Words Can Change Your Brain. That's a lot of responsibility. describe how simply focusing on positive words can cause short and long-term changes in our frontal lobe, while negative, fear-inducing words increase activity in our, I'm not going to pronounce this, amygdala. I don't actually have to read this aloud to people. The fear center of our brains. Another study in 2009, conducted by Maria Richter et al., described similar results. They explained that the presence of negative words like disgusting, crampy, it wasn't crampy, was it? It was grumpy. Was it grumpy or crampy? Oh, I'm gonna have to go back to the study. I know it's not crampy. It was crampy. I'm gonna pick a different one. We're gonna go with grueling. Crampy. What does that even mean? Disgusting, grueling, and dirty, no matter if spoken, heard, or thought, can cause stress in the moment as well as contributing to long-term anxiety. Positive words like refreshing, celestial, and warming, conversely, decrease the expression of stress hormones. Negative words and positive words. I don't want to repeat that. Whether spoken, heard, or thought affect situational stress, long-term anxiety levels, and self-perception too. How to use language to make good impressions. We know that positive and negative words in our brain has a real psychological impact on okay, so I say our brain, but then I talk about that person. On our mood, whether spoken, heard, or thought. How can you use that to make better first impressions? Well, you tweak the words you use when you speak with someone for the first time. It sounds so... Sorry, my cat is over on the bed and is like being a bit of a goblin. I'll show you. Are you proud of yourself? She is not a lady. It sounds so straightforward, but most of us are shockingly casual with our especially when meeting someone new for the first time. It's scary and stressful for most of us, which can cause us to word vomit anything that comes to mind. If you choose to talk about anything stressful, which is easy now, we've got the pandemic, the election, weather events, and the increasing price of chocolate all top of mind, you might accidentally start someone else's brain into shove someone else's brain into a spiral of stress, which would cause them to think less positive of you. Instead, go in a meeting or conversation with intent. Be mindful and specific about the words you choose. It may be hard to, I don't even think wangle is a word, is it? Wrangle, celestial, in casual conversation, but maybe you can talk about some warming hot chocolate you had or a refreshing cool breeze you enjoyed while on a walk. It's worth noting that all the standard rules of good first impressions still apply here. Body language, tone, and eye contact are all still important. You can't just say celestial and be done. But the very words we use are often overlooked in the quest to make a perfect first impression, even though they can be vital. Word choice sounds simple, but it's easy. It's also simple to ignore. We underestimate the power of words at our peril. They have very real consequences on how we perceive ourselves and how others perceive us. Don't underestimate the impact of positive language. We like to pretend we're at the mercy of our brain. Fault of our own. We forgot to buy milk at the store, that we acted weirdly at a party for no reason, that Twitter has us hostage and doom scrolling. But we underestimate our brains. Often we perceive the physical world as more important than the mental world, and we ignore that how we feel and think has a very real impact on our physical reality. Just take the phrase, sticks and stones will break my bones, but names can never hurt me. It's categorically untrue, and we all know it. The words we use affect our minds, which affect our bodies. That's why, here we go. This is such an effective technique. It's easy. And most of us don't do it today, at least not on purpose. Just by ensuring your language stays positive when you make a first impression, you can help tip the complicated algebra someone else is doing to try to figure out whether they like you or not in your favor. All it takes is some positive language. Is positive and okay. I am happy with that. That's about 800, 900 words, just what I claimed at the start of this video. Now, I will take a break to answer some questions, and then I will dive into Pexels to find the perfect header image. Janice asks, although I believe this has already been answered, can you add published stories to your new personal publication? You absolutely can. I retroactively added a ton of stories to my newly published publication when I put in Zooey Writes. Do I edit on a different day or later on the same day? I normally edit a little bit as I go, and then I do my main edit at the end. I personally prefer to be done and dusted. It's possible, it's likely that my stories would be better if I waited a day or two and then came back at it with fresh eyes. But a lot of times I just want to write and then I want to be done. And that's the case with this one, I think. So I'll probably I've done my editing as we've seen it. I read it aloud and kind of tweaked some bits. And that's that, Stud Muffin 1019. Was there ever a time when I would outline my paper or use some kind of pre-writing technique like mind mapping or clustering? All things Olivia asks. When I was starting out writing, I did outline more. So outline is a loose term. So I would come up with my title, my subtitle, and then I would normally write my introduction, my conclusion, and then some bullets in the middle. And then I would flesh the bullets out. I might move some sections around. Now I've done this specific structure so many times that it's easier for me to do this without having to outline first. I already know my introduction has to address the pain point. My conclusion has to address what the reader's going to do after they read this. If it's anything to do with science, I normally do like the breakdown of the science in the second subheading, your brain on language, and then I do the how to apply it to your own life in this one second. So I don't really need to anymore, but I did at the start. Hopefully that helps, Olivia. From what you can see, you seem to wear your pants. I do mostly. That is my style. Yeah, I would be interested to hear how you all write, you especially, Olivia, but anybody, please post in the chat how you write. Do you outline? Are you a pantser? I think that's what it's called when you refer to someone who writes by the seat of their pants. Yeah, tell me how you write. Steph coming in with the pronunciation. All right, I just saw it. Amy, nope, Amy, Meg, oh God, how did you spell it? Where was it? Amygdala. Even with the phonetic pronunciation, I'm still not confident I'm getting it right. Amygdala. Okay, we'll call that. Zach wants me to explain the use of that mark on Medium, the dash, dash, dash. Do you mean this one? Or this one? If the former, that's just how I separate. If the latter, that's called an M dash. I just like M dashes. To me, it feels like a very natural language, like the way I hear someone speak. The M dash kind of simulates that, like I'm literally talking to people. This isn't a full stop. This is a continuation of the sentence, but with a dramatic pause. So like it's categorically untrue, and we all know it. The words we use affect our minds, which affect our bodies. I mean, it could be a full stop, but I like the M dash. So don't know if that answers your question, but that was just, that's why I use them. Yes, Veronica, officially inspired. Go write something. Do it, and maybe it'll take you, I did this in 1 hour and 26 minutes, so hopefully similar or less time. Matt, backing me up on the attitude, write and be done. I live by this. I rarely go back and edit something. Oh, another question. Do you write first and then get your title? So I almost always start with a title. This is my main idea, and I build around that, but frequently I will edit my title a lot as I write the story. To make sure that I'm accurately reflecting the value I'm providing in the story, as well as hopefully getting people to click on it and read it. So it's a careful balance. Oh, thank you. Steph coming in with the actual amygdala. Got it. Amygdala. The M dash. Yes, I did confirm. Yeah, I love my M dash. I probably do overuse it. Maybe I should go through and see how many times I use it. Hang on. Wait, where is it? Oh, here we go. Here's one. I just want to copy it. Okay, that's not so bad. Wait, no, it didn't show up the proper long ones, did it? Oh, well, I'll just have to live with the knowledge that I overuse M dashes. Okay. Now on to, like I said, possibly my least favorite part of looking for a good picture. All right. The hardest thing is picking something that reflects the idea you have in your head but isn't overused. So like if I do something like conversation, frequently this will, like I've seen these so many times. I don't want to use these. So what I like to do sometimes, like I look at how many views it has. This has 1.7 million views, which for me is a little much. So I'm just going to keep, this looks cute. And this only has 500,000. And these people look happy, don't they? They could be meeting for the first time. Sure, yeah, all right. Copy, please. I've tried using the copy button, and for whatever reason, it doesn't work for me. Very annoying. So here we go. Make it big, add the caption. And then something I've been trying to be better about is adding the alt text. This is good if somebody who's reading your story is visually impaired, and this kind of describes the image. So 2 women, I'm not typing. 2 women eat breakfast pastries at a table. One woman is showing another something. Her phone. They are smiling. That's where I was typing. Lol. Okay, this psychological trick lets you make a better first impression. Can I get more specific without? Normally, I try to be like I line up the promise in the headline, and then I line up the method in the subtitle. So it's like, make a better first impression. How? By using positive language. Frontal lobe. All right. Okay, I think that is done. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add this to Mind Cafe. Mind Cafe for me is very hit or miss. A couple of my like properly viral articles have been in Mind Cafe. I had one that was like 150,000 was in Mind Cafe. So I hope. But you know what? You know what I haven't tried lately has been The Ascent. I haven't published in The Ascent in a while. It might be worth it. I'm gonna try The Ascent. Sure, why not? And then I do psychology, self, relationships, communication, first impressions. I think that's it. Submit to publication. Okay. And voila, we are done. So I will continue answering some questions, and then I will let you all go and get on with the rest of your lives. And hopefully try to do this every Friday. This is super fun for me. I love doing this. It kind of keeps me honest, and I love getting a chance to answer questions from people like right directly, almost like having a conversation with YouTube tells me 31 people are watching this, 31 people at the same time. So people are backing me up on the M dash. Thank you, Matt. Great tip on looking at views on image. Yeah, it's just I've accidentally used images that are super overused, like on Medium. Like if we go to the Medium homepage right now, for me anyway, the ones that stand out the most are the pictures that I haven't seen before. Like I've seen, what the heck? That one looks weird. Like this one to me doesn't really stand out much. This one doesn't stand out much to me because it's like I've seen these before. This one stands out more. Yeah, these edited. Wow, that one looks really jazzy. Sean Kernan is really good at picking good images. Kernan. I don't know. I never pronounce his name. Yeah. All right. So yeah, that's my goal, is just avoiding something I've seen too many times. Somebody requesting an interview with Roz Warren. She is hilarious. I don't know her. Most of my interview requests I get from people that I know relatively well from Medium. But I will see if I can potentially reach out to her and see if she'd be interested in giving up some of her time for an interview, because yeah, she is on a very, I guess, like what I would consider atypical success story on Medium. Like she does not do the listicles like I do, and she still does phenomenally well. Veronica, I am the same. I sometimes spend like way too long picking the picture. Very frustrating. So I understand that pain. Steph says, I always feel like I write based on what I'm going through, but how do you even put that into a story that will be read? It seems like you have to have value and a solution for readers in your stories. So my thought about this is, what you're going through, you're probably not alone. And the trick is figuring out a way to summarize what you're going through in a headline that explains what you're going through. Sometimes the value and the solution is just, you're not the only one dealing with this, and that's what your readers will get from you. Like, for example, one of my most read stories, I don't even remember. It was I wrote it, it was such a niche situation. It was about like moving my pets overseas or something. Something I didn't think a lot of people had struggled with, but it really resonated. A lot of people read it and liked it. And even though I didn't have like a takeaway or like I do on most of my stories, it was still pretty well received. So I think maybe I've misinterpreted. You don't have to have like you should do this and your life will be better at the end of every story. You just have to give something to your readers that makes them feel better than they did when they started. Like in your case, it's just, they're not the only ones struggling with this, and here you are writing about what they're dealing with as well, even though you're telling it through your own lens. ever looked, oh, Zach asked if I've ever looked at an image and created a story on it right out of the bat. I have not. I know some people who do. I don't have that kind of instinctivity that's visually driven like that. I normally go the other way around. It could be an interesting one. Maybe I'll do that for my next Write With Me Live as a fun challenge. All right, I'm going to wrap it up. If you have any ideas about what you want to see, any questions, any challenges for me to do on a Write With Me Live, this one I kind of came up with on my own. Like, it'd be fun to bring something out of draft retirement. But I'd love to hear what would be helpful for you. What do you want to see from my stories? What can I be transparent about, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. This has been super fun. So thank you all for being with me and coming on this writing journey. I love doing this, and I can't wait for next Friday. And I will leave you with an image of my cat who has fallen asleep on the bed. She is so darn sweet. Look at her. I love her so much. All right. We made it to Friday. Hope everyone's doing all right. Have a wonderful weekend, and I'll see you all soon. Bye.